Thank you for joining and welcome to the fiscal year 2027 Underutilized Properties Program webinar. My name is Ana Sofia Mieva Wong, and I serve as the Underutilized Properties Program Manager for Mass Development. This brief video is intended to give a high-level overview of the program, including information about eligibility and timeline. I will also share over what makes an application competitive and provide an example of a successful application. The Underutilized Properties Program is intended to provide assistance for projects that will improve, rehabilitate, or redevelop blighted, abandoned, vacant, or underutilized properties to achieve the public purposes of eliminating blight, increasing housing production, supporting economic development, creating new permanent jobs, and increasing the number of commercial buildings accessible to persons with disabilities. The types of organizations that are eligible to receive funding under the program are municipalities, municipal agencies or authorities such as redevelopment authorities, economic industrial corporations, and economic development authorities, and nonprofit and for-profit entities. The Underutilized Properties Program falls under the building category of programs in the One Stop. Focused on catalyzing the rehabilitation of underutilized buildings, eligible projects are broken into two categories: pre-construction and construction. Applicants should apply for one of the two categories, but not both on the same application. Applicants will be able to select the appropriate category for their project in Section 2 of the full application. The maximum award for the Underutilized Properties Program is $1 million for construction and $250,000 for pre-construction. Applications may be awarded partial funding, and we encourage applicants to break down their funding request into separate line items and back up their requests with proposals or quotes for the proposed work. While the Underutilized Properties Program does not require a match, projects that leverage other public and private investments may be more competitive. Projects scheduled to be completed within 1 year of award and ready to begin construction within 3 months of award may also be more competitive. Underutilized Properties Program funding can only be used to fund work within the envelope of an existing structure that is vacant or mostly vacant. Funds are not intended for site work, new construction, or full demolition. Partial demolition is only permissible so long as it is necessary for building stabilization. The Underutilized Properties Program funding will not reimburse any expenses incurred for work that was performed before the executed grant agreement date or that was not approved in the scope of work or budget as part of the grant agreement. Funding for the Underutilized Properties Program is meant to support a municipality's effort to bring new private development that can result in direct economic impact and benefits to the community. Redevelopment of buildings by municipalities for general public or municipal use will not be as competitive as new private development, such as housing or commercial development. To qualify for consideration in the building category, the applicant must demonstrate ownership of the property or site control via a long-term lease of 44 years or longer. Last year, we received many applications for ineligible projects. We strongly suggest that applicants carefully read the program guidelines and compare their projects against the criteria. This is an incredibly competitive grant. Last year, we reviewed 188 applications and made 33 grant awards. These awards were made geographically equitably across the Commonwealth. To be competitive, the proposed use of grant funds must be consistent with the categories of eligible uses. Applicants should convey how the use of grant funds will enhance the public purpose of eliminating blight, supporting the economic vitality of downtowns and town centers, facilitating the production of workforce and low-income housing, and increasing the number of commercial buildings accessible to persons with disabilities. In addition to enhancing the public purposes outlined in the statute, the applicant should demonstrate the economic benefits of the funded improvements in terms of jobs and housing units enabled by the increased occupancy and spillover benefits for the surrounding downtown community. Project timelines that can be completed within the fiscal year are preferred. Except for requests for design funding, applicants must demonstrate that the proposed improvements have been designed and permitted such that work can start within 2 months of a grant award. Successful applicants will demonstrate their experience or the experience of their design and construction team with similar projects. Applicants must demonstrate the financial need for the support. Attachments should include the sources and uses of funding, a pro forma, and a full list of the project's capital stack to demonstrate the project's financial strength. Here's a great example of a successful grant. The applicant was New Vision Enterprises in Brockton. This project is a 3-story building with commercial on the first floor and 20 units of housing on floors 2 and 3. This grant leveraged the housing investment by activating 3,500 square feet of commercial space on the first floor. The grant funded code compliance, accessibility, and fire code safety. It leveraged private investment to redevelop a property that was vacant for 30 years. It included a strong demonstration of funding sources. The project was shovel-ready. The developer had experience and a successful project history. The proposal demonstrated it would bring new growth to the municipality's tax rolls, and it generated new interest and investments in surrounding properties. Here's the timeline. All this information can be found on the Community One Stop for Growth website. I have put links to the important sites on the last page of this presentation. The full application and expression of interest period is now open. It is recommended that you submit an expression of interest. This gives us a heads up that you are applying, and if your project is not eligible based on the information provided, you will receive that feedback. Applicants may now begin to work on applications in the IGX system. However, applications will only be accepted during the submission period. Do not wait until the last minute to sign up in the IGX platform. The one-stop guidance phase began in January and runs through April. A series of webinars will be hosted, including an office hours session, which will give an opportunity to answer application questions live. The full application submission period begins in May and spans through June. Applicants may submit their full application beginning May 4th, 2026. All applications must be submitted by the full application deadline of 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. There's a PDF version of the application on the website. I recommend that applicants download the PDF document to work on your responses and gather necessary attachments. As mentioned before, be sure to read the guidelines to ensure you don't miss anything and that you have appropriately responded to all of the questions. Review and evaluation by Mass Development staff occurs from July to September. Notification of grant decisions generally happens in early October. Here's a summary of some opportunities for guidance. Visit mass.gov/onestop for more information on the expression of interest. Completing an expression of interest will allow you to see if your project is eligible for funding through the One Stop and get tips for preparing your application. One Stop program webinars include recordings of all One Stop programs are now available on the One Stop website. One Stop staff will also hold office hours to discuss general One Stop processes and technology questions. Staff from each program will also hold an office hours to answer applicant questions related to the specific program. The Underutilized Properties Program office hours will be held on April 9th. Finally, I have put some important links on this slide for easy reference. Thank you for watching this webinar, and I hope it inspires you to apply. The staff at Mass Development is looking forward to reviewing your application.